you'd like to know what games to put your time into, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz! And we are here for another edition of Thinning the Backlog, with the game in question being the DioField Chronicle. Now, since this isn't technically a review of a game, and just a journal of sorts of me playing games, let me discuss how I deal with the final episode of one of these segments. I have three choices when it comes to stop playing a game, and these are the choices. If I beat a game to completion, I will title the video Completed and talk about my thoughts in the game and what I enjoyed, didn't enjoy, and why I felt compelled to complete the title. Next is Back on the Shelf. This sounds exactly what it is. I stopped playing the game and put it back on my shelf. If something doesn't click or there is something else that can scratch my itch that I would rather play, but I'm putting it back on the shelf to return to one day. And finally, there is I'm done with this. And this is basically pretty clear. I've either had such a bad time or I've had enough of the game and I'm just uninterested at this point. So I already know that I will not return to it and I have no desire to ever come back to it. So I'm just done with the game and I will state why I am finished with it. So one quick note before we get started with the rest of my time with DioField Chronicles. I've been basing the times of how much I've played the game based on the save data that was on the game when I saved. Well, however, I noticed that when the game is on Quick Resume on my Xbox Series X, the game treats the time on hold as time played. So the numbers that I probably have given have been inaccurate. I think I said I was roughly 8 hours in. I am more likely around that time to be around 6 hours. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking. I played another hour of DioField Chronicle, and honestly, it was looking kind of up at a certain point. The game started opening up, submissions were unlocked where you can gain new characters, and the trees in the game started expanding, so it was a little exciting. So I started knocking out the submissions, earning gold, SP, and other things in the map. After I beat a couple of missions, I gained an axe-wielding character named Donovar that looked pretty promising. There was an issue, however. My characters were already at level 15. The new characters were at level 12. Normally in strategy RPGs, all you would have to do is grind some missions, gain XP, and level them up. Fine, that's perfectly fine. I had a problem with all this. Instead of going through the main mission story, I thought it would be safer to actually do one of the sub-missions I haven't finished yet. So I decided to use that new axe character in that mission so I can level it up. Well, the problem is he melted like butter. Like, he could not take a hit at all. Even though the level from the mission says level 11, Donovar would get killed pretty easily without constant healing. And since there is only one healer available at the time, I literally had to babysit that one character with my healer whenever he started to get low. This then made the other two characters completely vulnerable to attack unless they all clumped together in a fight, which is tactically not a good move in this game. I tried that mission twice with Donovar and failed both times, thinking that maybe I needed to just use my more experienced characters. I had most of them at level 15 except my knight, who was at 16. I decided maybe Donovar could be put in support instead, which is really not ideal because your character gains less XP by being support. Oh, that failed too. Even when I'm tactically doing the right things, the AI just bum rushed me at all sides at one point to take me out. And basically, even though the level of the map says 11, the enemies were easily able to overtake my 15s and 16s. And there's only one more solution in order to fix this. That's right, grind some more. Do the older missions again, even though you received all the things you needed in them for completing it. So yes, I went into an older mission with Donovar and yawningly breezed through level 6s and 7s to complete the map, which didn't net me enough XP to level him up once, since he was at a such higher level than everyone else. Which also meant that, yes, I will have to grind much more in order to get through that mission. It's at that point where I said to myself, Wiz, you must be doing something wrong here. So I decided to look up some stuff regarding difficulty spikes in normal in DioField Chronicle. The result was kind of mixed. Some said the game is criminally easy, while others complained that there's some missions that are very easy, but then there's sudden random missions that get difficulty spikes. I could have just hit a specific mission that might be difficult despite the game telling me that it should have been a cakewalk. And I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. I distinctly remember playing games like Super Meat Boy and Ninja Gaiden, cursing up a storm while I couldn't get that jump quite right, or hit that parry button just so. And I immediately went back to playing it because the game is so satisfying and I love the experience of playing the games. And I think that's the main problem I have with DioField Chronicle right now. In my 8-ish hours of playing, I'm not satisfied. Combat, while good technically, doesn't really give me the tactical fix I want. My strategies have been thus far split into 2 parties, take on separate enemies, bum rush the enemy with all 4 characters, and level up characters enough to face tank everybody that moves. The AI isn't that intuitive or smart to make battles more engaging. The lesser enemies are just diversions to help whittle away your XP for the bigger bosses, if there is one. And the bosses are fairly simple too. Either they are super strong and you have to whittle away their HP, or they have a multi-phase boss that summons friends to help distract you. Sometimes, if the game had some better customization options to really tailor your style, it could offset less than desirable AI, but I have issues with the customizations in this game as well. It seems like the game wants a specific unit to be that specific unit, and that's it. Sure, you can have 2 soldiers, 2 archers, and 2 knights play exactly the same regardless of what different tactics you use. That may change as time goes on, but I guess that's the problem I have with this game. It just seems like the good stuff is much further in the game. And with estimates to beating the game being around 35 hours, I simply don't believe I have to play 15 hours of game for it to get engaging enough for me to stick with it. And it's with this that I put DioField Chronicle back on the shelf for another time. I agree that the game has a sound engine and could have been fun with the battles that they have, but the AI doesn't make it engaging enough. And the controls make it just feel obtuse, and it concentrates on making your hands distort into pretzels at certain points. DioField Chronicles is pretty strange in some ways. As a strategy RTS on PC, it would be way too easy and unsatisfying. On console, it just doesn't fit right on the controller without workarounds and just constant grinding and babysitting. I may return to it one day if I really am in the mood for a game like this and a new Growlancer or something like it has not been made, but I'm fairly disappointed with what I played thus far. Maybe it gets better, but like I've said in the past, I'm not playing 15 hours of boring to get to 20 hours of good. To me, that isn't worth my time. That is it for this thing in the backlog of the DioField Chronicle, and that is it for this episode of I Am The Wiz. Friday, we're going to do another gaming news roundup. Saturday, Kim Shackman and I are going to review Gattaca, and Sunday is the Sunday Matinee. And until then, I am The Wiz. I will talk to you next time. Bye.